So, all you mediums, you can breathe a sigh of relief now.
Did you know there's lots of camper vans in Poole? That wasn't all the...
Anne-Marie, thank you
It's a
for
real
being with us
pleasure,
today.
as always.
Do not beat yourself up about
Oh gosh, now I'm past that.
Yeah, yes.
I just apologise.
It
because
happens.
it's...
We had a plan B, didn't we? Yeah, apparently. Well, did I not tell you? Did you not get the memo?
Are you wanting somebody to join me on the platform today?
Well, I've got a host of them. Get me more in, I'm going to call rent a killing. Anyway. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So wonderful to see so many of you here today to celebrate your following of your religion, your faith, your philosophy, your school of thought, however you term spiritualism, sits with you in your own personal way. A great delight to welcome back to our platform a lady who always brings this light in.
Oh, gosh, I paid him for that. There you go.
Thanks. Absolutely lovely lady. She is a certificate holder with a Spiritualist
diploma.
National Union. A diploma holder, I'm sorry. Have I? A diploma holder with the Spiritualist National Union and a tutor now at the Arthur Findlay College.
Yes.
Yay! Well done. You know, we have these many different branches within spiritualism. Very sadly at this time there's a lot of discord going on.
Sadly.
Please ignore the discord from both sides of the fence, I hasten to add. Spiritualism is about light, integrity, honesty, openness and communication. And if some of these people actually spoke to other people, do you know what? Things might get resolved. But anyway, we leave that energy outside where it deserves to be. And in today's service, we welcome the harmony, the unity of...
All that is Anne-Marie.
All that is Anne-Marie. Wonderful, wonderful. Big warm welcome to everybody watching us online, wherever you are in the world, whether you're watching today live or on catch-up. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Anne-Marie, if I could ask you please for the opening blessing. Thank you.
If I could ask you to join me, please. Divine Spirit, as we step and join two worlds together, we ask that you show that life is continuous, that we work in harmony and peace, and the love that is created here today is spread to the four corners of the world. For when we work together in peace and harmony, we are a united force, completing as one. Amen.
Amen. I like that. I like that, thank you. I'm not laughing at the prayer, it's the intent there, thank you so much. So if you care to now, please join in with saying the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thine will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And leave us not when in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, for ever and ever. Amen. Thank you. And we now bring our thoughts to one of the many facets of this beautiful philosophy of spiritualism. Mediumship is a generic term. Mediumship does not define the evidential medium. It does not define our healing mediums who you've seen working here today. Our philosophical, the list is endless. But this part of the service, we practice our healing mediumship. And everybody is a healing medium if you choose to be. Some people will explore that path deeper. Some people will just share that joy and love through a smile, a welcoming word, or just a thought, just a gesture. All these things carry the energy, all these things convey that love, and all these things are inspired and come to fruition through that thread of the divine which resides in us all. So during this time, we would invite you to exercise that, to send out love, because love is healing and healing is love. It is so simple. We sometimes complicate things and bring in other terminology. Healing is love. Just remember that. So during this time of healing, accompanied by meditative music, if there is anybody you know in particular whose name can be mentioned, put your hand up. When I point to you, call out their name. The intelligence of spirit knows and acts in accord. Trust that. Our favourite word as a medium, isn't it? Trust. What's that? Yeah. Sorry. But trust in that process.
Trust in self.
Thank you. So enjoy this time now of healing, of meditation and contemplation. Thank you all. Divine and infinite Spirit, God of our own understanding, we thank you for this time and reminder too that we are healers one and all, that if only everyone across this beautiful plane of existence practice and harmonize with that energy of healing, this indeed would be the paradise promised on earth. Amen. Amen. I'd now like to invite Anne-Marie for your reading and or address, because we haven't spoken about this.
We have not, but I can go straight to the address.
You can go straight to the address. I was going to do the and or.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, darling.
Normally, actually, I have a book in my bag, but I took it out before today. Well, it's meant to be the way it is. And obviously, my start to this journey today was a little bit longer than I anticipated and a little bit slower when I got to this end. But it gave me time, whilst I was sitting there, about the last time I served here, I was a completely different person, and that my journey took a twist, just as it did today at the start. And then I was there, I knew I was rushing for time. And then I thought, I've got all the time in the world, because I can't control everything that happens in my life. And if you're like me, control freak, suits me to the ground, because I like to determine what time I'm going to arrive. But today the universe had a completely different story for me. And that's what life is about, isn't it? We believe that we have this story and that the journey is just going to be kind of straightforward. But how many of us have found during our lives that we've ended up on a roller coaster that we didn't want to go on? Because if you're like me, roller coasters are petrifying. They're too deep, they're too high, they're too scary. But really they teach you things about life. That life has its ups and downs. And the character that you are produces a faith that you don't even realise you have. Whatever faith or whatever your belief is, sometimes that's tested, not by you or your mind, but the universe. Because there's one thing that I can guarantee to all of you here and to all of those listening. The one thing we have is magic. We have the gift and the ability to create who we truly need to be. Not what others dictate to us, not what others say to us, but we have our hearts and souls that states, this is who you are. Then comes the magic. You have to decide if you want to be that person. If you are the one that wants to make yourself smile. I was smiling all the way through Paul, going, Lawrence, I'm coming. He didn't hear me, obviously. He had a plan B. But that's what life is about, isn't it? It's about sticking to your guns when you know in your heart you are right. How many times has people told you you're wrong? And you go, I am listening to myself. I am listening to my body. I am letting you know this is me. This is who I'm meant to be. And dare I use the phrase, let them go. Let it go. We say these words so as if they're so simplistic. But it's difficult to let go of things that you know are comfortable. How many of us today will go home and get those slippers out, those shoes out that they should have chucked away years ago and put them on their feet and go, I'm home. But that's what life is about. Finding those comfortable slippers that suit who you are. Showing people that person, your reality. So many of us wear masks because we believe that is what we're supposed to do. We hide that spirit that is within. Because each living person, creature, has a heart, has a soul. And that soul needs to go, I am here. I am willing to work, not just for the spirit world, but for mankind as well. We're so easy to bicker and bite at one another, yet not quick enough to show love. You've probably heard me mention this many times. But when you go into a library now, it's amazing. It's full of knowledge. People willing to share their knowledge. There are things in there that I will never understand in a billion years. There are books in there that I will find boring and do find boring. But I will read them because there's knowledge that I need to gain. And then you find something that used to be called the religious section. And it's called the belief section, which I love. I really do enjoy that word. And there I was, looking at all of those books in a row. Different religions, different sizes, different authors, different covers. And there was one thing that they weren't doing, and that was fighting and arguing. They were standing there beside one another, supporting one another. All those books, all that knowledge at peace. If those books can do it, why can't we? Because surely each one of us here is a book, or if you prefer, a song. How many of us have got chapters in our lives that we've sealed shut within that book? How many of us are aware that we've got blank pages to fill? What do those pages look like? What do you want them to look like? Do you want to have doodles on them? Do you want to have written words? Do you want to have pictures? I'm still debating whether or not I should allow somebody else to write in my book. And I will take that to my heart and we'll find out that one. And that's what life is about. Because sometimes the unexpected comes up into your life and screams at you. And how many of us choose to turn a deaf ear to what we know is true? What we feel and sense is the right steps for us. Because if somebody takes a pigeon step or somebody takes a giant step, surely they're the same. For a pigeon step for one person might be a giant step for mankind. And the person lucky enough to take the big step is avoiding all the rubbish within their life. Wouldn't we all love that one, to have long legs? But that's what life is about. Ensuring that we live in truth, that we learn to live in peace. A while back, there was some monks, I don't know whether, I hope some of you have seen this. It came up on social media rather than main media. And these monks were walking across America. And I accidentally found them. Is there ever an accident? But I was hooked because they were doing it for peace. And during their walks, and they've done 2,000 miles plus, the start of their journey, there was a terrible accident and 2 of the monks were hurt. One of them actually lost a leg, and that's how it came out on social media. Then you watched as the days went by, and there was thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people coming out to greet them. But all of those people, in my mind, were looking to see what peace looked like. Because you could feel the peace. They were showing thousands and thousands of people, this is what peace looks like. And those monks walked through every single type of weather that you could imagine. Sunshine, rain, storms, blizzard, and they kept on walking. And the ironic thing is as well, there was a multitude of age groups within this group. So age has no limits. So that's all your excuses gone. But there they were, walking through America, showing peace. And for myself, I had forgotten what peace felt like. So they were giving us stark reminders, just as those books in the library, that whatever you believe, you can find peace and have peace within that dynamite. Because people's lives were changing. They were showing us something unique. They weren't saying to us, this is my faith and you must follow. They were saying, follow my peace. And they had a wonderful dog, absolutely beautiful, that when they were walking in India, this dog started walking with them. It was a stray dog. People got much more enjoyment out of the dog. No, they didn't. But the dog showed us how we can all walk in peace. Whether we're furry, four-legged or two-legged, that we could walk in peace, that we can walk in harmony. That dog is more famous, I dare say, than Lassie. And it's true, though, that peace and love and kindness gives us far more strength and understanding than we care to believe. Because we need to believe in ourselves. We need to know that we can create and do create the life we deserve. And if you're like me, you have parts of your life that you don't resonate with anymore. And it's okay to give yourself permission to be free. To know that your journey has just restarted. I won't say again, because it's just restarting. You've just hit that restart button, just like you do on your computer when it's not working. You hit that restart and it all flowers up and comes to life again. Because each one of us has a life unfulfilled that we are creating within our potential. And each one of us has a potential that if you don't use and show others, then you are doing a disservice to your own spirit. Yes, I'm sure I've cried many a tear, and I'm sure I will cry many more tears. But that's my window of my soul, expressing their happiness, of my freedom, of my cleansing that takes place. Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We now move on to our piece of music for today. We've gone traditional today for a change. During this hymn, Sue will be taking the collection for the further work of this, your church. Thank you.
Getting prepared in the car. I'm not going to get me 15 minutes next year.
That's a nice change, isn't it? Nice to go back to our roots at times. We now move into that part of the service where we within spiritualism loudly proclaim we do not die. Well, we do. It is part of life. We change. We move on. We are never lost. Nothing is ever lost. So in this part and this demonstration of what we call evidential mediumship is where we can provide that evidence. And I always emphasize the word evidence. We can't make you believe. But it's there to provide the thoughtful mind fodder to take away, to examine, to understand, and to reach your conclusion. So during this part of the service, we have that wonderful Trinity. We have from Spirit, through Spirit, to Spirit. If you do have a communication, and I'm sure many of you already are just sending out that thought, invite people in. Invite them in. Say, Mum, I'd love to hear from you. Dad, I need to hear from you. Just send that thought. They're there, they're listening. And if you receive that communication, keep your communion open too with that Spirit. Because then you create this wonderful circle of energy, and it's palpable, it's tangible, and it's proof. Not evidence, it's proof. We require you to be a part of this service too, do we not?
Yes.
I know there's new people in today, please bear with us. So if the medium should come to you, a nice clear response with a
Yes. No. Maybe.
thank you.
I feel a song coming along. Oh, great harmonies.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yes, Anne-Marie, my darling, over to you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank
That was
you.
wonderful.
Okay. I must admit, as I was sitting there just before I got up to the address, I was aware of a lady, and she went, "I'm Mum," and I said, "We need to come back in a few minutes because I need to do the philosophy first." And so straight away, as soon as I sat down, Mum was here, and I know she wants to talk to her daughter because that's how she's making me feel. I know Mum was a traditionalist because when Lawrence said about, oh, we're going back in, about the song, Mum would have loved that. She was a real traditionalist, so I can't even get my words out. So I know that Mum would have struggled getting her words out towards the end of her life. I want to go 2 to 3 months before she passed to the Spirit. I want to use the word horrible because I know that that's how she's making me feel in the fact that of how she was and how people really stepped up to the mark to be able to help her. I know that if you went into Mum's, I was going to call it house, and she went, no, home. So again, I know I jokingly said about the slippers, that sort of thing Mum would have liked. She would have been, take your shoes off, put your slippers on, you know, real comfortable at home feeling with that. I know the kitchen was the hub of the home because I feel people going out there and making the tea, having a good old chatter and natter with her as well. I want to say I do feel like she had the most perfect kitchen because it was so organised. Mum was very good at her housework because I'm seeing the house spotless, but it was a home. She talks about it being a home, and I know that there would have been pictures of family that went back at least a generation within her home. Does this make sense to anybody? Because I don't generally know where I'm going, so no one understands. Oh, you understand it, and you understand. I've got two ladies. Okay.
Even if there's just one bit you don't understand, don't discount the rest because she didn't have slippers, you know. Come on.
I was just about to say, would you understand all of it, or is there just one or two bits you don't understand?
The kitchen wasn't that spotless, but the rest of it.
Okay. But it's the same, right? Okay. But in her view, it was spotless and it was clean and it was tidy. Does that make sense to both of you? Because I just know she said it was clean. So I know that Mum had a sternness with her if you felt you'd done something wrong. Does that make sense to both of you as well? Not sure, right, okay, just let me just do a work with you and see where we go. Because your lady would have worn a penny. No, right, okay, your lady would have worn a penny. Okay. Sometimes, okay, because I've just got it put on. If she was doing, I feel like cooking or things like that, not all of the time it would have been worn, but it was like if she felt very comfortable, if she had some good clothes on, I feel like a penny went on. Does that make sense to you? Yeah, okay. I also know she talks about the shoes, thank you for, she talks about the shoes, but she, in the end, she had to wear comfortable shoes that were flat and comfortable. Does that make sense to you? Oh, you can't remember, as long as you know. Did your mum wear flat, comfortable shoes as well? Right, okay, that's fine. Let me just work with both of you and see where this is going, because if I'm correct as well, Mum would have adored family occasions. Absolutely adored them. Everybody getting together for Christmas, Easters and things like that. Very family birthday orientated as well. Does that make sense to you as well? Because I know I've got everybody's names written down so I don't forget birthdays. Does that make sense to you? And make sense to you as well. I also know with these, I want to call them ladies because they were ladies, and I have to say I feel very much that your mum would have been a Marks and Spencer lady, very smartly dressed. In how she looked as well. It was like matching top and trousers, and a little cardigan or a jacket would have been her forte as well, because that's what she's making me feel. Now I know that your mum was smart, but she would be quite happy just putting on a pair of, not that she did, joggers or something very comfortable clothing, your mum. Does that make sense to you? No.
I don't think so.
Okay. Can I say that your mum, towards the ends of her life, was about comfort?
Yes.
And about wearing things that were comfortable with her rather than being, you know, like everyday clothes. I feel very much that she was just had to be very comfortable in the clothes that she wore. Does that make sense to you? Your mum stayed your mum until, you know, that's who she was, and that's, it also made her feel great. Does that make sense to you? By dressing up the way she did, she was still mum. She was still the lady that she had created. Because I know, with both mums, I know that their lives were not simplistic. Because again, I'm going back to that roller coaster, and I feel very much that both of them, you would never know it, but both of them had that kind of lifestyle. Does that make sense to you? I also know there has to be memories when they would have to be very careful over monetary, how it went out and how it came into the house. Does that make sense to you? Because I know I'm feeling that very strongly, because it's like, okay, I've got X amount of pound for shopping, and I never went above and beyond that. I always made sure that no one came knocking at my door for monies. Does that make sense to both of you? Because I just know that that's there. I also know as well, I've got two intelligent ladies here. They may not have had the certificates on the wall, but I know I've got a really strong, intelligent lady here with me. Does that make sense to you? And that would make sense to you as well, because I know they're very gifted at resolving problems very quickly and nipping things in the bud. So if anything was going to flare up, they were like, we're not having that bump. And that was all sorted. So I'm just asking now why they come. Mum wants to say well done to you for sticking with it. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
And she's very pleased that you're over one hurdle. Now, I'm not allowed to predict the future, but I'm allowed to go into your potential, says Anne-Marie. And so for me, you've just got a couple small little hurdles to go over, and then you're at the finishing line. It's a straight run to the finishing line. Does that make sense to you? And you would understand the symbology there with that, because it's like she's already got the flags out, preempting you getting over the next two hurdles. Does that make sense to you? Okay. Your mum is so proud of you because she's saying, thank you for doing the right thing. Does that make sense to you? Because without you, things could have been very different. Does that make sense to you? And you would completely understand that what she's saying. She also wants to say thank you for all that you did for her as well. Does that make sense to you as well? Because I know others helped, but there's above and beyond that you kept her where she was and kept her as well as what she was for longer. Does that make sense? That would make sense to you, because I'm using the word sense with this lady, actually with both ladies, because one minute I'm feeling they're sensible and the next minute I'm feeling they don't even know what that word means. Does that make sense to you? Because of their characters and their bubbliness. But Mum is just trying to find the right words for you not understanding what you've done and the help you've given has made, and she really wants you to have that out there. Does that make sense to you? Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'm just waiting for the next person to step in. Okay, I know I have a gentleman with me. If you've seen me work before, I have 3 heights. You're taller the same or shorter than me. That's what I do. So now I've got a tallish man, a little bit taller than me, and I'm in heels today as well. So I know I've got that with him. I know I've got a man who really had breathlessness, because I know it's quite difficult for me to breathe, and I know I would have needed oxygen at times, and certainly just before my passing, I'm feeling the cannula around me as well. I also know, gosh, he's making me laugh. He said I wasn't the best patient. Okay, he's making that very clear. Because I went, oh, you're sweet. He was not when I was ill, because I was stubborn. I was the man who would say no when I really wanted to say yes, because he just wanted some control over what was happening in his life and to his body as well, because I know that he would have worked hard for the family. I know at some point there would have been manual work with this gentleman, and as I look out of my house, I know I've got an amazing garden. So I know his garden, oh gosh, I was about to say him, but I'm not sure whether it was his wife or him that done the gardening, like the gardening, but I know I've got this garden out here, and I know this time of year the flowers would be blooming, and I'm seeing different colours and different variety of flowers within the garden. So I know that even Mum would have known her flowers. I know a rose and a daffodil, and that's about it. So I know, because they're wanting to name all the flowers, and I'm calling them all roses, and they're like, no, the yellow one's this and the pink one's this. So I know that they would have known the names of all the flowers that were there. I know with him, oh gosh, I think Mum stepped in as well. I know that they were a couple that were different in stature and heights. I know, dare I say, Mum feels like the bossier one, out of the two of them, because I know I can feel her giving instructions to him about what goes where in the garden and things like that. So I know I've got that kind of lady with me. I also know with her as well, I'm getting a mixture of what she was like to cook, because I'm seeing nice dishes come out, but I'm also seeing like lumpy potato, so I'm not quite sure what's happening there, whether he done the cooking and it was nicer and she done the lumpy potatoes. Does this make sense to anybody? Right, okay. Maybe, right, okay. So what bits can't you take then?
Okay, are you saying these two are a couple?
Well, they feel like a couple. They're coming together anyhow.
Okay.
So if they're not...
I'll take both of them, but not as a couple.
Right, that's fine, because I just automatically put them as a couple. But they were. There has to be the bickering though. Like she had a very bickering personality.
Yes, but not between the two.
Okay, that's fine then, because I was just made aware of that. Because he would be very gentlemanlike to allow her through. Does that make sense to you? It's like, okay, I thought it was going to be me, but Mum stepped in and she's having her say as well. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's very much Mum, because I know. Gosh, Mum would have had, her health was not good for a period of time, and then she became sick. Does that make sense to you? He was just fine, and then he suddenly got very unwell. Does that make sense? He's described it because he kept going for as long as he could, being unwell. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, sort of.
Yeah, okay, it's fine. Because I just know, Mum liked to have her hair done. Yeah, because I'm just seeing it setting, whether or not it's setting rollers and things like that. And she didn't care whether she went out shopping like that, as long as her hair looked nice at the end of the day. That's what she was liking. I also know as well that Mum really liked to take care of herself to a point. Does that make sense to you? Where I'm seeing clothes in my wardrobe that go back years but still fitted. Does that make sense to you? Because it's like I've got my winter, my summer, all organised in the wardrobe and everything else. But she wasn't really that organised. Does that make sense to you? Because I'm seeing this lovely wardrobe, and then you come away and it's like chaos all around me, because bless her, she could... drama seemed to follow this lady. Does that make because as I'm just saying that, she says, oh, look at all this drama, and she'd be the one to go, okay, bye folks, and off she'd go, leaving the drama all behind her, because that's absolutely, because she was a real, I want to say this, and this is not being flippant, she was a class act. Your mum, absolute class act, because I'm seeing that, because I know it's as if people tried to get her paperwork or things sorted out before she passed to the spirit world. Does that make sense to you? Because I'm seeing wanting to get things organised.
She did, yeah.
Right, okay, but there was some of it missing. It's not all there. Or she left it to the last minute.
Oh yes, no, I got that.
Yeah, okay, because as I'm linking in there, she go, I can see all this, and then she there's two bits of paper. Also,
she did her will, and it arrived the day before she died, and they hadn't spelt things right, so she wouldn't sign it, and she rang them and tried to sort it. And
yeah, because that's what I'm saying. It's like it's all organised, but it's not all organised with that. And it's just like I went out in style. And that's what she's talking about, the will. It's like it could only happen to her. Does that make sense to she was always that type of lady where things seem so chaotic, but she could just get there in time and turn up and go, hi everybody, I'm here, and not know the drama that's gone on behind as well with her. Because I know taking Mum out for the day could be, I want to say, difficult and hard work. But when you got there, it was really quite nice. Does that make sense to you? But it was her way, and it was much easier to go her way. Oh, we'll go and do this, and you're like, no, if we go and do this, this will be, nope, we'll go and do this. And that's the way she was. Does that make sense to you? I know I've got Mum here who was quite, I'm going to say, a fussy eater, and I know you're going to disagree, because I know she ate anything. Does that make sense to you? But she was fussy about what she ate with everything. Does that make sense to you? Because I'm not seeing her go for really, really fancy food.
No, she had quite a broad taste.
Yeah, and that's how she's making me feel. Does that make sense to you? I also know with this gentleman, he's just going, "Hi, I'm still here," and that's the way, and that's the way it would be as well. Does that make sense to you? Because I know this gentleman comes through with a lot of love for you. Absolutely, a lot of love that's there for you. And I also know with this gentleman, he's talking about medication that he was taking towards the end of his life, and it was as if he was hit and miss with it, whether he was taking it. Does that make sense to you? And it wasn't deliberate, it was just as if, I can't remember if I've taken it today or not. Don't know whether you would know that, but that's how he's making me feel. Yeah, okay, because I know Mum, she's like, okay, my turn now, and that's the way she would come in. Does that make sense to you? It was like, as soon as you walked in your front door, Mum was there, and it was just, she was just full on from the time you walked in. Does that make sense to you? Again, I'm using the word sense again, and I have to say, I don't think your mum had a lot of sensibility. Does that with her there, because she's saying, well, I used to just say how I felt, and it didn't really matter who was listening, and whether or not I hurt their feelings, because bless her, she didn't really understand that she was hurting people by her just going, this is the truth and I'm saying it, and this is my truth, and she was very just like, she was like a wild fly. I mean, she's like a wild, because it's like where are you gone now? She said, I'm just doing this, and I'm, and you'd be talking to her, and she'd just wander off and go and do something, and then I can't come back, and you go like, okay, we finished that conversation, and it'd be like, then you'd have another completely different conversation with her, but she was so full of love. She was, and I know there's a question mark, because she's like, I'm full of love, question mark, that's come with it, but she said, I loved the way I did, which was unique. I mean, I have to say, your mum was very unique.
Yes.
Extremely unique with it, because I know there were some people would time their visits to her and find an excuse to leave at that time. Does that make sense to you? Where others would get trapped, and kind of every excuse that they tried to make, they were trapped. She's a lovely sweetheart. I mean, she is. She's got her hair done for today, by the way, because she's got her best frock on as well. She's got her little heels on as well, because that was Mum. She would dress for something special. Does that will make sense to you as well? And she really, all joking aside, she really wants to thank you, because not only did you support her, but there was financial support there as well. Does that make sense to you? There was some kind of financial support, and if it's not yet, she's just thankful for all of that support that was given to her. Does that make sense to you? Because I know I've said this before, but it was above and beyond helping, and above that as well, because it's like you had to go in and help her, go outside, have a scream, and then come back in and help her again.
It was, more like that after she'd passed,
Yeah, because that's how she's making me feel with what's going. So I'm just asking why she's come now. And for me, God, your mother wasn't afraid to tell you off, whatever age you were. Does that make sense? Yeah, because it's as if she's saying you should be doing more of what you're doing and not less. Right, okay. Your mediumship, you should be doing more of it and not less. Does that make sense to you? Yeah, okay. Does that? Because it's as if she's really wanting to push you along that road. She's, I wouldn't have believed in this mumbo jumbo, but she's good at it. Does that was again? That's Mum. Does that make sense to you? All right. Thank you very much for working with me. And the gentleman says goodbye.
It would be nice if she'd let him get a word.
Yeah, bless it. If Mum's there though, no one got a word in edgeways. Okay, I've got Nan with me now, and I know Nan is shorter than me, and I've got quite rotund with Nan as well. And I know I said pinafore earlier on, but I feel that this lady would most definitely have worn a pinny or an apron type over her clothing. I know that she would have been the first to rise and the first to bed as well, because again, it's like I'm watching the news on the telly. As soon as the news is finished, then I'm off to bed, and that's how she was as well. I know I was about my late 70s, early 80s when I passed to the spirit world. I know I didn't look that age for a long time, because I'm only looking as if I'm in my 60s, because I know that this lady would have been the sort of lady that would have used soap and water and Pond's cream to keep her reflection. I know that I would have been the lady that would have had rosy cheeks, because I can see a beautiful smile, absolutely stunning smile, because my eyes would light up when I would see you, or any family member for that matter. Oh God, she said that she's apart from my husband, but no, I think that was a joke. That was her sense of humour coming through there, where she would have she makes me laugh. She said he used to get under my feet, so I used to chuck him out of the house. So I know that there would have been grounds around them, certainly a green area wherever they lived. I also know as well that I know I had the organised kitchen earlier. This one's not so organised, but it was organised in the way she liked to plan things. I know that there has to be memories of a fire in the house, and I'm just going to say I thought I've seen an Aga or some sort of different type of cooking. Does this make sense to anybody? Some of it, none of it? Oh, okay.
Somebody put your hand up. Come
Yeah,
on.
okay. You would understand all of that.
I do.
And that's got to be with Nan, though,
Yes.
as well,
Oh,
because
yes.
she was a very formidable
yes.
lady. And it's like, okay, here's your dinner, you will eat it now, or you go without. That type of lady in the kitchen. I know I'm the sort of lady that also, there has to be memories of the old whistle kettle whistling, but also how many times did it dry out, where she was busy off doing something and it just boiled the water out of it as well. I know that you could really know what day of the week it is by this lady, because I know I can see the washing on the line. And she didn't even use personal, but her sheets are white. Does that make sense to you? I know I've got memories of an old iron, because I'm spitting on it and I'm doing the ironing with that as well, because I know that this lady didn't have a lot of electrical items within a lot of modern, even for that day and age, modern things in the home.
I was brought up in the Dark Age.
Oh, I wasn't quite going to say that, but it was though. But she's obviously giving the evidence that you remember and you know about as well, because I know there must have been times when you would have had to clean the fireplace.
Yes.
And it's kind of like, is there more soot in the bag or on you than there was that was there as well. I also know with this lady, is she had selective hearing, or she had hearing issues, because it's like, I know I'm talking to her, but if I said something, and she'd just carry on and ignore me. And then if I say something that she was interested in, she would respond back to me, and that's how she was. I know, I know that I would have dressed traditionally for that day and age, and for, well, I wanted to say actually more for my generation I would have dressed, rather than the day and age, but more for my generation that I'm feeling that. I know I would have suffered around this area of my body, but yeah, she's making me aware that she would ignore these things more so, just crack on and do everything, because she was the sort of lady that says you can't mend a cracked egg, you know, very philosophical that way as well. But I also want to say was very spiritual in her own way, and her knowledge on nature was very good. Does that make sense? But I'm seeing old remedies being made up if you've got a cough or a cold.
Yeah, you don't be sick, you know.
Yeah, because it was just like open your mouth and in it goes with her that's there. I also know I didn't have much, and this lady genuinely did not have much, but what she had, she would share and give her heart and soul to whoever walked in her door. Does that make sense to you as well? Because I know with her, she was a really bright soul for her generation as well. Very forward thinking in the way she thought about things and were planning things as well. Because I know that she made Christmases and such like the best that she could. Because it's like rather than a turkey, you had literally have fresh chicken on the table, and I mean she literally.
She was a butcher's wife, so that was.
Sorry, so I just like no, don't go any further.
I never went up there in December. It was like a carnal house.
Yeah, sorry, it was just sorry. She just snapped it like, oh, I never experienced that. Thank you. That was there with her. So I just know that she never went beyond her means to impress other people as well. Because I know that I would have had problems with my eyesight. Towards the end, and I know I really can't see words or anything else like that, because again, I'm a lady. She was a lady. I can just say this. She was a lady, but with a tomboyish feel to her. Does that make sense to you? What you could do as a man, I can do it as well, and that was her way of doing things. I also know with her as well. She had good hugs.
Yeah.
She had really good hugs. It's like there wasn't many, but when they came, they were very giving and receptive as well with her. I also know as well. God, don't put a fool in front of this lady.
No.
Because you would see, and I want to say it's like a family tradition, that aspect. I can deal with most anything, but not one of those. That's there. So I'm just asking why. Oh right, okay. I'm just asking why she's come, and all she said to me was that you're made of tougher stuff.
Thank you.
Because of whatever's going on here, you're made of tougher stuff. Does that make sense to you?
Thank you.
But also, shall I embarrass him?
Yes.
Just do not forget to allow your heart to shine.
Okay.
Yeah. Because that is your biggest tool in your box, your heart.
Sorry.
But it's also
Very inappropriate thought.
but it's also the one that you wear on your sleeve.
Yes, very much. Apologies. Sorry,
No, that's fine. The private jokes are more than welcome, as long as they're shared afterwards. But that's what she's saying, and she's saying rather than you take your usual big steps at the moment, take those little pigeon steps, and they will be the big steps.
Very pertinent. Yeah.
Okay, so just do those very slowly.
Yeah.
And she said it's a time for listening. Okay.
Yes.
With what? But I'm being made aware that this is very important.
It is.
It's extremely important at this time. And she's also just said as well, give them some castor oil that I'm making fine.
No, I'll be fine without that.
Yeah, but she's wanting to let you know that everything's going to be fine, because the medicine's not very nice, but it's going to be worth it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you. I'm finished, yes. That was my cue.
Yeah, I've had my message. You're finished now. Thank you. That's the first time my grand's been through, so thank you.
Oh, okay.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Notices, very brief this week. Our next week, our Sunday service, we welcome back Angie Freeland, who will also be here Friday week with an evening of paranormal investigation. That's it. Todd, would you turn the streaming off, please, mate? Put your thumb up when you've done it. Not up where, but just on the air, that'd be fine. All done? Thank you. I was going to share this, but